Okay, we're going to go over a few things on the armrest here. Basically start up here in the upper left. This is your HydroFlex pressure button. You're really only going to use this button whenever you're calibrating your head or locking your platform up for wheat. When you're calibrating your head, it's always going to want your pressure on your head to be down below 1,000 psi. You can use your minus button here to just drop the HydroFlex, drop the hydraulic pressure off your head. The plus button, basically you'll use that when you go to lock up for wheat. You'll run your pressure all the way up on your platform to get your platform into a rigid mode. The next two buttons here, probably pretty well already got these figured out. This is going to be your separator engage, and this is going to be your header engage. Basically, you'll be able to throw your separator in or your header in first. It's electronic, so you're not going to be able to engage your header without your separator going. If you want to reverse your header, you're just going to push down and pull back on this yellow button, and that's going to reverse your header. There's no need anymore to down on your feet beneath the seat. It's all done right here. Going on over to your next button here, this is going to be your AHC button, your automatic header control. This is how you're going to set your buttons 1, 2, and 3 on your multifunction handle. If you're using your height sensors, basically you're just going to turn it to the right to raise the header or raise HydroFlex pressure, and to the left to lower the header or to lower HydroFlex pressure. Your next button here is going to be dial a speed. Basically, if you are using dial a speed, if you do have that icon turned on up on your corner post display, you're going to turn this to the plus side to speed up the reel, and to the minus side to slow down the reel with relation to your ground speed. The next one here, this is used if you're not using dial a speed. If you just want to manually use your reel speed to speed up and down, you just use your up and down here rather than using your dial a speed. Next one here is for Draper platform only. We don't use that here, so you can just leave this one alone. The next one here is just going to be your road disconnect. You just hit that button, turns on this little green light right here above it, and that's going to lock your header so you can't raise it up and down, and also lock your unloading auger so you can't swing it out when going down the road. When you get to the next field, just hit the button and that disables the road disconnect. Moving on down here, this is going to be your concave clearance. Just plus side here to open the concave and minus side to close the concave. Next one's going to be your concave speed, RPMs. You're just going to plus here to speed the rotor up, minus here to slow the rotor down. Moving to the next one, this is just your fan speed, up and down. This is your chaffer, open and close the chaffer, and this is sieve, open and close your sieve. Your throttle here, you've just got low range, 1200 RPMs. You've got your mid range, about 1700 RPMs, and then you've got basically wide open, runs around 2300 RPMs. Also, inside your armrest, we've got the armrest open here. You've got basically your rate of drop or your header speed. The auto is on the left and the manual is on the right, and that's basically just whether or not you're using your auto height sensing or your hydro multifunction handle. That's pretty well it here on the armrest.
Here we have the first corner post on the 60 series combine. There's several things on this corner post. Always on the top line you'll have miles per hour. In the upper left you'll have your fuel gauge. In the upper right you will have your temperature gauge, and then you can select a number of things to be on the second or third line. For example, I've got engine speed, I've got rotor speed, I've got concave clearance, I've got fan speed, I've got header speed, and I've got my engine hours. Now the arrows right here, that's just select which line you want to change. So if I press that, up or down, you can see how that's moving the arrow to the line, and then I can pick which line I want to put my particular things I want to view. Miles per hour will always be in the top, but the bottom two lines are selectable to your preference.
Okay, this is going to be your VisionTrack harvesting monitor. Basically here, the first thing you need to do is you need to watch what seed size you have. This here is in the largest seed size. That's what we use for corn and beans, and usually we lower it down to the middle for wheat. You can just change that with your little bottom left button right here. So I'm going to put it up here. This will be in the corn position. You've got basically 3 different sensor areas on the combine. This one's your tailings, just to tell you how full your tailings is running. There's just a sensor back there strapped to the side of the tailings elevator. Not uncommon for this tailings to run somewhere around half full. If it gets to where it's running full all the time and you know you're not running that many tailings, you can take that sensor off and clean it. Pretty common for it to get dirt and dust kind of collecting on it. Next here you've got basically this would be your cleaning shoe loss. These sensors are out the very back of the combine. So as you see loss, as you see bars climbing up here, that means there's grain coming out of the back of the combine, basically out off your chopper. The right one here, which has got the picture of the straw walker, this sensor is actually located in by the back of the rotor. This just means that there's basically free grain reaching all the way back to the back of the concaves without falling through. Probably need to make some concave and or rotor speed adjustments there to try to get that grain through your separator grates a little bit sooner than when it actually reaches to this sensor. Basically what you need to do to calibrate this thing, you always really want to run it with the sum of these 2 sensors running right in here, right in between these 2 green lines. What you want to do is actually set the machine to your preference with, losing minimal amounts of grain out the back of the combine. You've got the machine doing a good job, and just as you're going through the field, just hit this cal button and it's going to calibrate those sensors to say that you've basically said that this is acceptable loss. That's about it here on the VisionTrack harvest monitor.
Here we're taking a look at the hydro handle on the armrest, and the hydro handle has several functions right at your thumb's tip there. Starting on top, we have the quick stop button, and what this allows you to do is if you're harvesting along and you have your header running and you're unloading on the go, if you see a rock or an obstacle or something, you can reach up, if you're going forward, and you can hit this button and pull back on your hydrostat, and what that will do is that will quickly shut down the head, quickly shut down the unloading auger, whether it's swinging in or out or if it's running, and it will also stop the combine as you did that, and that will shut down the unloading auger, so if you're unloading on the go it won't spill over onto the ground, and it will shut your header off. However, your separator will continue to run. The other buttons that we have are the 1, 2, 3, and this is our header sensitivity, or our header sensing and our header resume. Number 1, if you press number 1, the head will come up to a resume position, which that's normally where you would turn on the end. Number 2 and number 3, those 2 buttons are for your header sensing and for your ground, following the ground. Number 2 and number 3 can be set to different settings, and you do that with the front dial over on the armrest. So if you hit number 1, the head will come to a given position. You go over to the dial on the armrest, turn it clockwise or counterclockwise to set the setting. Same way with number 2. If you hit number 2, the head will go down to the ground, and then you adjust either on a Hydroflex, you turn it clockwise or counterclockwise to set your pressure. If it's a corn head, you turn it up clockwise for up and counterclockwise for down to change your picking height. Number 3 is the same as number 2. It's just a different setting, so you can have numbers 2 set maybe for normal crop conditions, and number 3 you can set for maybe down crop or another setting that you would prefer. This button, up and down on a platform, is your reel up and down. On a corn head, that's going to be your header speed. So if you want to speed the header up or raise the reel, you would press up. If you want to lower the reel or slow the corn head down, you would hit the down button. On a corn head, the side to side on this button, the side to side on a corn head, you have corn head deck plate close and corn head deck plate open. On a platform, this is your reel fore and aft, so reel forward, reel backwards. On the center button, you have raise the head and lower the head. And there's also there's two in here. You have fast raise, which was all the way on, and then you have slow raise, which is just one click. And if you go to the second click, that's fast raise. Same thing on down, you have slow lower, which is one click, and then the second click, or the second detent, is down, and fast down. The Contour Master is your left and right, so this would be left down, this would be right down. The unloading auger is right here. Center is the neutral position. You have one position. The first detent is manually. Extend the auger. If I go all the way to the second detent, that automatically swings the unloading auger all the way out. If I want to swing it in manually, I go to the first detent and it will swing the auger in until I release it. If I want to swing it all the way in, I go to all the way to the detent and it will swing the unloading auger all the way in. So I'm going to swing my unloading auger out and get ready to unload the machine, whether I'm unloading on the go or into a stationary truck. All I have to do to turn the unloading auger on is press and hold the unloading auger engage button. And this will also give a warning on the screen telling you that it's engaged. If I want to shut it off, I press the button once and it will turn it off and the light goes out, and that's the functions of the hydro handle.
Okay, we got a platform on the combine now. We're going to go through a calibration. Want to do this basically the first time the platform is hooked on the combine, and probably once a year after that. Basically, to start, you're just going to come up here on your corner post. You're going to hit your diagnostics button, which is the book with the wrench on it, and you're going to go up to cal, and then you're going to hit your enter button. Okay, first thing comes up is concave. We don't need to calibrate that unless we change the concave on the combine. Go up to header here, hit enter. P down comes up. It means we need to lower the hydroflex pressure on the platform. So I'm going to do that over on my armrest. Just get it down below 1,000. And then it says H down. It means I'm just going to lower my header. Going to lower the header all the way to the ground, so it's completely resting on the ground and all the weight is off the combine. I'm going to hit cal. Comes to H up. Just raise the header all the way up. Hit cal. EOC comes up. We got a good calibration, and hit the enter button. Okay, now we're going to calibrate the Contour Master on the combine. Basically, to do that, we just come up here to our diagnostics button and go up to cal on the diagnostics button. Hit your enter button. Go up until you see tilt, T-I-L-T. Hit enter. It says L down. So I'm going to tilt the header all the way to the left. Hit cal, R down, tilt the header all the way to the right, hit cal, and then center. And on the center, basically there's a notch on the feeder house of the combine here, and you'll just basically center that notch in the black rubber that's on the Contour Master. And once you've got that lined up, you'll hit cal. EOC comes up, we got a good calibration, just hit enter. Okay, now that we've got our header and everything calibrated, what we've got to set up is our automatic header height control. Basically, to start with, on our screen here, I've got all of our icons are actually off. This one right here in your bottom left corner is your header height resume. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. That's usually associated with my number 1 button. And that just runs off the feeder house. So that way, even though the corn head or the platform is off the ground, I can still sense off my feeder house and raise that header up. The second button on the left, the upper left, that's actually your header height sensing button. That one there is controlled by the sensors on the platform or the corn head. That button's what's actually going to be in use when you're going through the field and those sensors are riding along on the ground. Next here, in your center, bottom center, this is your Contour Master sensor. Basically, if you've got a combine with Contour Master, you turn that on. That engages it so that the head goes laterally back and forth, left or right. Next, you've got this would be your dial of speed on your platform. You'd turn that on, and a corn head you'd have that off, and you'd reach down on your armrest, and you can use your armrest to adjust your dial of speed, and that's basically your speed ratio for your reel to the ground. Next to the upper right, we've got this header float button. For all of our equipment around here, we always leave that off, so just be sure that is not on your combine. Bottom right button in here in this platform, this is going to be your reel resume button. So anytime you hit either 1, 2, or 3, you can set your reel to go back to the same spot. You do that by turning this icon on and then just getting your reel where you wish it to be, and you just push and hold, like say your number 2 button, and anytime you push your number 2 button to say go down after you turn on the end, your reel is going to go back to the exact same position. Same holds true for your deck plates on your corn head. If you set this up, you can always set your deck plates to say a certain spot for your number 2, a certain spot for your number 3, and that way if you've got some spots in the field with some smaller stalks or something like that, you can just hit and change your button on your handle, and you can just move your deck plates just like that. So that's your header height control. Alright, now I'm going to talk about the touch set here in the combine. Basically a real handy way to adjust your combine, either when you get started in a crop, and you can also make some custom settings in here. So that way you can just basically hit one button and set the whole combine. Right now, combine separator is engaged and we're at high idle. Have to have that so the combine can set the fan speed and things like that. So basically, right now we're showing corn dry. These are the settings the combine's on. I'm going to bump it up one here to corn wet. These settings here are the settings that it'd want to turn to if I hit the auto button, okay? Now they've gone back to the settings that the combine is actually doing right now. I'm going to hit auto. They all start to flash, meaning that basically the combine is trying to change, like it's trying to change the sieve and the chaffer right now, changing the fan speed a little, and it's going to go through and automatically make those changes for me. That's your touch set, real handy way just to kind of get started in a crop.